What is up, YouTube? This is the Working Investor. In this video, we are going to compare and contrast total return to total return with all the Group D funds that are coming out in YieldMax this week, November 20th. And we're also going to compare and contrast all the Bitcoin proxies since the time of inception of MSTY. Let's get into the video. So, like I said, the group that we're looking into is Group D. The timeline is from, the reason why I'm only using a timeline from about 3 months is because I want to be fair. When you want to compare apples to apples, you want to compare total return to total return. You also want to compare timeline, because it's not fair to use a timeline of one fund of 6 months and compare it to another fund that's been around, that launched 12 months ago. That is not fair. It's different timeline. So the most contemporary fund from Group D is SMCY, and I want to compare from the time it launched. I think it launched September 11th, but I have data from Seeking Alpha, which is my source, and they have data from September 12th. So I'm just going to compare everything from September 12th to November 20th. Everything here is not financial advice. I'm just presenting the data that I found on Seeking Alpha. You can go ahead and look it up yourself, and you need to make your own conclusions. But I will give you my opinions, but this is just my personal opinions. I'm not giving you any advice. So again, we're looking at, total return, which is the price and the dividends. So let's look at MSTY. MSTY in this about roughly 1 quarter, 3 months, is up 128.48%. I actually did add the underlier so you could see how much the cover call ETF captured of the upside from the underliers. So you see the underlier of MSTR is 229.23%. So they got about 50% of the underlier. YQQQ is an inverse short, basically, of the NASDAQ, and they're down negative 2.79%. AMZY is up 8.3% in this quarter. But their underlier Amazon was up 9.42%. It looks like they did a pretty decent job capturing almost the entire momentum of Amazon. Aptly, which is the lowest one except for SMCY, they're up this quarter 3.81%, but they actually outdid the underlier of Apple by a little bit, and Apple was only up 2.59%. AIYY, 26.94%, compared to C3AI, or ticker symbol AI, 44.12%. DISO, 19.55%, compared to Disney, or DIS, 25.89%. SQY, SQY, 31.96%, compared to SQ, which is 45.15%. And SMCY, this one a little bit, I wasn't too happy with it because I was expecting SMCY to go down, but I was expecting them to, as a total return, be down a little bit less than the underlier, because I was hoping that with a cover call ETF, synthetic cover call ETF, that the premium that they received, or AKA in terms of dividends and total return, would slightly cushion the fall, but it looks like it did not. The numbers, this is the numbers that I found. SMCY, negative 37.28%. SMCI, negative 36.06%. So the underlier did a little bit not as bad than SMCY. This is what I found the numbers. Now we're going to talk about everything Bitcoin, comparing Bitcoin itself to MSTY, to BITX, which is a double leverage play on Bitcoin, supposedly, BITO, and CONY. So you could see here MSTY, and the timeline we're using, again, very important, the timeline. This is total return to total return, and this is a timeline based on the most contemporary thing that you want to compare. So I want to compare MSTY, and MSTY is the most contemporary fund, and I have a range of February 22nd, 2024 to November 20th, 2024. So this is approximately 9 months, 3/4 of a year, right? So 3/4 of a year, MSTY is up 294.62%. So this is the winner. This outpaced, even as an income ETF, it outpaced BTC because Bitcoin was up at the same period of time 81.74%. But MSTY did better than actual Bitcoin in this period of time as a percent of total return. I'm not giving you any investment advice. I'm just presenting the numbers that I found. BITX, which is supposed to be a double leverage play on Bitcoin, I was hoping that it would have, I was anticipating, if Bitcoin's up 81%, I thought, hey, wouldn't BITX be up 162%? That's not the case. It was up, it is beating Bitcoin in price action. It's up 96.84%, but not as much as I thought it would be. But it's still tracking Bitcoin and with a little greater amplitude. BITO, which is basically, it does provide a pretty good dividend. They do futures on Bitcoin and they roll it out month to month. And then basically the money they make when they roll it from month to month, they give it to you in distribution, aka dividend. So total return of BITO is 68.35%. And then CONY, basically total return 62.66%. Still really good. Still, and remember, these are all not a full year. These are 9 months. And to put things into perspective, if you compare CONY to the benchmark that a lot of people use, which is, the S&P 500, the S&P 500 year over year is up approximately 32%. So CONY, as an income fund, has pretty much doubled the performance and total return in 9 months of the year compared to the S&P 500 of 12 months of the year. I'm not telling you that this is a better investment over the other. There's a lot of different risks involved. You can't compare, there's something called the risk-adjusted return. There's a lot of different variables. I just want to present the numbers. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. This is the Working Investor over and out. They're going to be announcing the Group D distributions coming up in a few hours. So this is just something that I was just looking into, and I figured I'll share with my viewers. Let me know if you guys want me to compare other Bitcoin proxies. I know that NEOS came out with a new Bitcoin ETF. I believe that RexShares was going to come out with one soon. So yeah, it's interesting to see these different Bitcoin proxies, spot price or proxies, and you could kind of compare and contrast and see who does what as far as total return and which time span. This is the Working Investor over and out. I hope you guys have a wonderful trading day.